This is the Swarm and Shoot football show with me, Manny Matsakis, as we kick off season 2. We've been fortunate because we've had a few good interviews. We bring Lynn Grohl on here, and he's able to interview some of our players. And we've got a lot coming up in this upcoming season. And this Swarm and Shoot football show is brought to you by Big B Coffee, which I've got right here. And it's right across campus here on North Clinton Street. Get the finest coffee beverages in Defiance, as well as great pastries and breakfast sandwiches to start off your day. And for most of us, we also get a pick-me-up in the afternoon by heading across the street to see Sue and everybody over at Big B Coffee. I'd also like to thank our sponsor, BSN Sports. Rob Held, Jim Garris, and the crew over here, the sales team, are the professionals that you definitely need to get in touch with to get your gear. All the DC gear. If you're a high school program out there listening to this, get in touch with these guys and they will help you out. They do a fantastic job with high schools, colleges, businesses in the area. Can get whatever type of apparel they need customized just for their business. So I know Rob does a great job for us. Jim is our rep that I see virtually every week of the year, and it's outstanding customer service. Hi, welcome to the Swarm and Shoot football show as we get things rolling today, and it's time for the State of the Union address. And, what I have for you today is a couple things. One, I wanted to give you, everybody out there, our fans, some really good insight as to how far we've come, what it was like at the beginning, and there's no better guy to do that with me than Coach Ernest Wilson. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Just so everybody knows, Ernie, obviously, he not only coaches the Superbacks, is the associate head coach. We've been working on this project together since that, 2-3 years ago?
Yes, came in that day. Started practice the next.
Oh my gosh! You think back to that, and it was fun. The opportunity that existed, it was. We took this opportunity on in August. We came in. You drove in, and I think you were there. You were there when they were unpacking the U-Haul, and the players were helping me get in the house, and we hadn't met a player yet. We had a very, very small roster. I think that the total was in the 65-ish. And then after that first season, how many guys we have in the spring?
In the spring, we had 19.
19. We couldn't even have a spring ball. I mean, it was just one of those situations there that existed. The program had come to that point. And what I'm fortunate is I have you on board, being a former head coach at so many schools, and we've known each other, since 1991, a long time ago when I was at Hofstra, and you won a national championship at Allegheny. We
are on our 30th year reunion.
Oh, you are? Okay. I love it. Yeah. So, it was just a matter of time before we get the opportunity to work together. And, it is interesting when you look at the numbers where they were to where they are now. And each year it's been a building process. We have had every year the youngest team in our conference. The last season we played in 2019, we had like 7-8 seniors. We have 7-8 seniors now. But the good thing is, when we came back in the fall, we had over 130 players on the roster. And through COVID and everything like that, ready to play here soon. We're in the mid-90s to 100, which we have, you alluded to, hey, we had 19 that one spring. The next year in the spring, I don't think we had 50. And now we're almost double that.
Yes, the guys on staff have done a great job of recruiting, going out across the country. We were talking about how many people were from everywhere around 26 states, I think. Chris Shank, our recruiting coordinator, has done a great job and getting guys on board to go out and recruit. And he's always on the phone working.
Yeah.
So, I can't. It's just hard to believe that these guys do this, because we were talking about being a Division I recruiter,
Yeah.
and what we look for, and looking for Division III, and he's brought in some great talent, some of the talent that probably could play FCS Division I AA.
Yeah.
It's been outstanding, and of course, with you on board during certain things and helping us out to build great facilities, and I guess you'll talk about that later. But
well, sure.
it's coming about. It's
Yeah.
going to be scary. I tell guys, I have Columbus. I tell them right now, it's going to be real scary. You keep going to those same old conferences, and can't beat that one team. And I said, we're building our team to be the best in the country.
Yes, there's no question. I feel that, and I think a big part of it is we have a fantastic coaching staff, and we do some things that are a little out of the box. Like these regular weekly podcasts, and then staff development type things that are maybe different than what some other places do, from what I hear.
You know what? I tell, when I talk to guys from around the country, or even talk to Division I guys, I tell them all the time, I say, Manny Matsakis, I say, he's on it. I said, he's really on it. I said, in multimedia and dealing with high technology, you're the one. I said, I've learned, even though I've been a head coach, and I've been a head coach in professional sports and also in college, I said, I've never seen anything like this. I really like it. And I'm like, he has podcasts, and I said he's form and shoot show. Websites and everything else. I say it's pretty neat. Gets everybody, the parents, interactive into the program. It gets the fans in the program and everything else. So it's really on top of it. He's really on top of it, so I give the kudos to you.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. It's not a one-man show. We've worked together, and the other guys on the staff have certainly, understood the direction we have to go. You have to be different. When you allude to how many different states are represented, I think we're fortunate because, I was asked by one of our big donors, how are we getting all these guys? How do they know who you are, who the program is in Texas and California and Florida and East Coast, all this stuff. And, part of it is maybe years ago the magazine might have helped,
Yes, football magazines definitely helped for the state of Ohio. And then, like you said, you having the football magazine that you've always had, that's been successful. So anytime I mention your name, people, I know who that is. That's the coach at here, or he's the one who started this magazine. So it's been pretty unique.
Yeah, it's American Football Monthly, which I sold years ago, and then it was just I think I had sold it to a fella down in Florida at the time. But more importantly, it was just because it was when I had made a decision to leave. Wyoming, to go work with a good friend of ours, Mike Leach, at Texas Tech, that I, had to engage in, all that, and going to bowl games every year and so forth. And Lubbock was fun. Mike is a great guy, and you and I both known him for years. And
yes.
And I think we've learned from people we've been with. I've learned from. Certainly, my mentor, Bill Snyder, was tremendous. Joe Paterno certainly helped you out as a young coach. You learned a lot,
It's kind of unique when you think about Bill Snyder and you think about Joe Paterno and how many wins they have in between those. We've had an opportunity to work with them and to learn from them. I tell people even right now, for me, with Joe Paterno, I remember him talking to us about certain things that people are doing right now.
Yeah.
And I was back with him in 1992, 93, 94.
Yeah.
And you're looking at this going, wow, this guy knew 26, 27 years ago.
Sure.
What was going to go on, or we already had it in the works working, and people are just now jumping onto it. So it's unique.
It is, and, to chime in, I guess, on Bill Snyder, who I've worked for twice, and, love him like a father, and he's such a good man. It was awesome to be at his Hall of Fame induction in New York City, which was great when I was living in Philadelphia, coaching there. But it was one of those things that, I catch myself as I'm sure you catch yourself. It's like when you're talking to these young men at the end of practice or any time like that, I feel like it's almost like I'm channeling Coach Snyder, the little things, all the things that make a difference, how, there's 16 goals to being successful, things that we share with our players. Everything that it's like, look, it isn't an overnight deal. It is constant, never-ending improvement. And that is, I believe, the direction we're going. And it helps that we have a great coaching staff and people outside, donors, boosters, which gets me to the next part here. Not just this podcasting studio, but this facility we have created as an office complex is something that, first of all, I've got to thank our president, Dr. Mankey. Rich Ann has been great and gracious to give us the basement of Defiance Hall, which, it wasn't being used for over a decade. You and I came down here and saw the potential of it. There were flooding issues. There were all different types of things. And then, we went to donors, and I'm not in a position because these guys are private individuals to name names, but it's like through those donors and people that care about this program, this college, we have amassed a significant amount of fundraising. We do that. We've done golf scrambles. We've done our touchdown lottery, all these different things that amount to basically like 6 figures worth of donations in a short period of time. And we renovated all the office area and we're always upgrading, because I feel it's really important for our players to have a place to come down to, and everybody, us as coaches, to have a professional place to work so we can do high-level work in the recruiting process and developing these young men. And you remember the first year where the assistant coaches were?
Oh, boy, do I. We were up in a little box up there with no air conditioning. They had the little air conditioning tube running outside the door.
In the stadium. It was like a sweat box, guys up there, wearing their white T-shirts, just with towels around their necks, and that's what we walked into. Yes. But in a relatively short period of time, we have this.
Yes.
We have a first-class conference room right now that we use for a lot of Zoom meetings, and we all have friends all over the country. We want to talk to these guys. We have instant access to them to improve our program. It's a nice showcase. Like, when you walk into the offices, we've got a great football operation set up with Emily Cotton over there, yes. Who also, probably the first female coach I know that's helping out coaching quarterbacks as an offensive assistant. And, you look around, we have a staff of varied experience, tremendous diversity, and people that ultimately really, really care. And now they come to work in a facility that, I think you tweeted it the other day. What did you say about this?
I said, being at Maine, being over at, being a head coach at Savannah State, other 1AA programs, I can't tell you all the other ones I've been to.
Yeah.
But, this is probably a better, even New Mexico State, this is a better facility, which you have put together, the offices, than any place I've been besides the bigger schools.
Yeah.
And it's been really unique. I've actually, enjoyed having, like we talked about, going from that box to having your own office, big screen television, being able to sit in there with your players and talk to them private is really great. It's a great situation.
Well, and ultimately, what it does for us is it helps with retention. It helps with the academic side of things because, we have a classroom right down in the middle of all the complex. Instantly have access to key people on campus, which I think is fantastic. And I think it has set us up in ways that, anybody else that's been here before would not recognize this.
No, not at all. When you're talking about us being, even though we're Division III, but you look at like Lisa Hancock, she's our academic advisor. Not very many colleges have that.
Yeah.
You talk about study hall, being hands-on, free tutoring, et cetera, et cetera. It's almost like a Division I program. You just got to continue to put people in place. Like you said, we got a very, very young team. But you put these people in place. You're certified strength and conditioning. I already mentioned Chris Shank, and even graphics with Matt Warehand and all this other stuff. But you look at our coaches, and they're very impressive. Jovan, Stillers, everything else. So we really got some good players. I mean, coaches, excuse me.
Yeah, across the board.
Players too.
It gets better every day. It's incremental improvement, as Coach Snyder would say. And, and none of this, I am remiss, I mentioned it already, but none of this would have happened without our alumni, the donors, none of it, because this doesn't just happen out of nowhere. And I'm fortunate.
I'm going to shout out to the alumni and donors.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you for helping me with the fundraising.
That's right. Exactly. And that's what's great. And then the other piece, last night we're up in the stadium there, and there's a second floor area that, through donations, we are developing a functional training center. So, things that are not just weightlifting oriented, glued ham machines, the big heavy ropes. We've got tennis ball machines, where receivers can catch the ball and, catch tennis balls and work their eye-hand coordination, all types of auxiliary drills and skills, because you can lift the house, but if you don't have those special skills that help you play the game of football, you're just a strong team, or you're just a fast team. It's the other side. I think it is part of the winning edge to be able to develop that side of an athlete today.
Yes, that's true. Especially the kids that we recruit, we don't always get the best, but it's not always because they wasn't a great athlete. It was because maybe they wasn't developed in high school.
Yeah.
Number one, our recruiting helped see that, and now we brought them in, and like you said, with the new center that we got going on here, they'll be able to develop. The coaches can develop them and help them out, and really get them going to go in the right direction to be a top athlete.
Yeah, and that's the body side. We work the mind, motivating these guys and teaching them some life skills that they may not be getting other than with their football coaches. I mean, they get a great education, but on top of that, it's like, who are you when you're done? I get most excited, and I know you do too. It's like the players you've coached, 20 years later. What they tell you about that experience. I still have guys from years ago, when I was at Texas State as the head coach and Emporia State in Kansas, and, where those guys, hey, I remember that team meeting you taught us how to like speed read, or you taught us how, memory techniques, stuff like that it's like, you know what? We're gonna win football games. There's no doubt in my mind, but it's a whole lot more fun winning when you're affecting people, and not just them, most likely their kids and grandchildren, all the way across for years to come after, when we're long gone, 30, 40 years from now, there'll be grandkids of the guys we coach that are going to make a difference because they were in our program.
Well, I don't know if you're getting that right now. I'm already beginning to get from my former players from the 90s, early 90s, and their kids are coming and they're seeing the school. And, what made me feel good the other day in our recruiting weekend was that, we try to reach out throughout the campus, trying to get to know people throughout the campus. And our tour guides two of them were baseball players. One was a softball player. Another one was a track runner. And I came down at the bottom of the stairs to say hello, and they all ran over to me. Yeah. Now, they're not even in our program. No. But they, one girl says, he's the best teacher. He's the best. And it makes you feel good. And then, you're pumping the baseball players, and they're saying, hello, coach, how you doing? And so you're getting to know the campus. And we love to get to know the campus. We love to do things outside the box, I say. Sure. And that's really, been unique about the football program. Yeah. People don't always see it because we don't sit there and say, look at me. Yeah. We just go out there. Yeah. You go out there. We always talk about different, I say different things. I use the word things. I know I use that too much. but I think it's unique how we captured the community and captured by the way, you're in trouble because a lot of people, even though we have been dealing with COVID, everybody's like, that casino night, that really brought the community out, and Coach got to bring the casino night back. So I said, okay, I'll try to talk to him.
That'll be fun.
We'll do it. That was unique.
Yeah,
that was a day for the community.
Yeah,
we more than we knew. We saw it as helping out the football program and whatnot, but that was a togetherness for the community. Mm-hmm. So I know I jumped off, but I just had some thoughts.
There's so many fun things that over the last couple of years since we've been here, as now, we are poised for this, amazing 2021. We've worked our way through the COVID epidemic, all this stuff that had happened. Coach Shankwade created, as far as I know, the very first virtual visit course of anybody in the country. We literally had to drop down the day everything shut down a year ago in the spring. And we had hundreds of kids go through this, and we created our own course. We took a regular recruiting weekend. We had already done videotape of it, and we put it in as a course. So that's how we kept the recruiting efforts up, and we brought in almost
110, I think, or something like that.
At one point, it was like it was almost 40% of the incoming class was football. So that gives you an idea that we're proud of that. Now these young men get an opportunity after having practice in the fall. We're going into training camp next week. We've been practicing or doing functional workouts outside when it's snowing, when it's icy, just to say it's mind over matter. We are tough. We're going to be a physical team. And we know we have a lot of speed and guys that can do some things, but it's like, what a great time to be in this program.
Definitely.
I mean, I just see our players, they're all masked up, but I see a smile behind the mask all the time. They're happy. They're excited. The opportunity exists. They want to make sure that they are masked up so we can play this, this spring. They're vigilant. They're keeping each other abreast of this. And if a guy doesn't, toe the, doesn't toe the rope and do it properly, then they course correct themselves instead of me constantly, being on top of them. Leadership comes from the ground up, the whole team. Yes. We all have to lead each other so we can move forward.
And they are beginning to become accountable for each other. We're still teaching because they are freshmen and sophomores, but working on the discipline. But we don't get in it. No trouble. No trouble for the most part. I'm being the guys are telling me that, hey, I was telling you yesterday, go over to the indoor track, and about 20 of them out there running, getting a track workout in.
Yeah.
Then you go into the weight room, and you got another 15, 20 in the weight room. Mm-hmm. Then you go over to the snowy track, and about 20 of them throwing footballs. Yeah. So you're going, wow, these kids are really enjoying this. They're really getting into it. And then at the same time, academically, I think that we are getting the kids that are academically focused. Yeah. And I tell them all the time, talk to your professor. Spend some time with your professor. Find out if this is really what you want to do. And so I'm really, working in the academics,
Sure.
I like that challenge.
Yeah.
So they really seem to be pushing their way to being a better, student athlete.
Yeah. Well, without question. You being a professor in sports management the last couple of years, I think has helped us bridge the gap. That may not have existed. It didn't exist till you did that, to be honest. And we had Dr. Jeremy Taylor, who was he's a dean now, and he was coaching with us, and it helped us out in that capacity. But you getting involved in that makes a big difference, And I think more than anything else, for our fans out there, I think you can be proud of these young men that they have made tremendous progress. Your program is at a point right now where we feel like, hey, we can compete with teams in our league, where at one point it would be because of youth, because of the state the program used to be in, we're at that point where we feel that we're excited every day to practice, keep improving, so those victories come and we can win championships here at Defiance College. And that's what this baby's all about. I want to thank everybody. Coach Wilson, thanks again. It's like every day we're just, we pinch ourselves the opportunity to coach guys, and I'm having fun. I know you're having fun. So we just want to thank everybody out there, and We look forward to bundling up, getting out in the field every day and have some practices. I want to thank you for joining us on the Swarm and Shoot Football Show. If you're listening to this podcast, make sure to subscribe in iTunes. Give us a rating, comment on the show. If you'd like to get all kinds of updates, go to our website at swarmandshoot.com, where you will be up to date on all of our podcasts with audio and YouTube versions on there as well. See feature articles on our current players and alumni, along with updates of what's going on in the program. Take a minute and subscribe with your email to receive these regular alerts every time we update the website.